How much rain 2024?
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And a lot of folks wondering if we will see any of that rain from Debbie, and the answer is
yes, so we'll see some of that rain, and we'll talk a bit more in detail about what the strength will be when it reaches us and all the additional details. But today it's a dry start, so enjoy the dry start this morning with temperatures in the 50s. I know I told a lot of you guys yesterday to leave those windows open and let in all that refreshing air, and so far it's been the case. But there is rain starting to move in from the south. Notice the weather station in Binghamton reporting rainfall at this point. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Again, dry right now, but here comes some of that initial rain. Now, this is not from Debbie. These rain showers will be spotty and not too impactful, but they are expected to arrive by the late morning in the southern valleys and afternoon in the Mohawk Valley in north. But following today into tomorrow, that's when the remnants of Debbie will move through, and we could see a moderate risk for excessive rainfall and flash flooding risk. So again, we'll talk about that in a lot more detail coming up in a few minutes. But again, today, dry start, rain showers in the afternoon. Debbie's forecast path, as well as what you can expect rain-wise for the weekend, straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Tropical Storm Debbie is expected to bring even more rain today to already soggy South Carolina, as it has now made a second landfall this morning. It is now expected to pick up speed as it does head north. Now, this is a look at some of the damage from Florida a few days ago. The National Hurricane Center says the center of the storm is moving across the South Carolina coast this morning, bringing even more rain and flooding to that state. Heavy rain is expected in parts of the mid-Atlantic and then the Northeast through Saturday morning, as Eric was mentioning. The slow-moving rain connected to the tropical storm has already made its way as far north as New Jersey. Here at home, a big day in Utica today as a ribbon.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good morning. Welcome back. The time now is 5:13, and we're getting you set to head out the door this morning on the Munson Commutecast. First off, taking a live look at downtown Utica right now. It's a dry start. Still some clear skies out in the distance, but there will be some rain showers developing from the south later on today. And on the Munson traffic tracker, we are, of course, seeing nothing in terms of accidents, at least in the Mohawk Valley, but we turn our attention to the south, especially just outside of Otsego Lake, north of Cooperstown. There is a road closure due to a stalled truck on Route 80 between Route 28 and Red House Hill Road. So a heads up if you are traveling on 80 this morning that you could encounter a traffic closure here, again, right along Otsego Lake on Route 80. But besides that, no other incidents early this morning. We're starting out dry with some sunshine. Clouds will increase. Temperatures start out in the 60s and 50s, climbing into the mid-70s by this afternoon, so still slightly cooler than average. But we'll start to see that rain develop by this afternoon and this evening. Some spots a little earlier, especially south. And then we'll, of course, track what we can expect tomorrow rain-wise for the remnants of Debbie straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Continuing coverage now on the tornado recovery over in Rome. National Grid will be back in the Copper City next Wednesday to meet with customers so they have someone to talk with face-to-face regarding their energy bills. The event is next Wednesday, August 14th from 10 to 3. It'll be held at the Jervis Public Library in Rome. If you want to apply for the company's energy assistance program, you will need to bring letters saying you qualify for SNAP, Medicaid, Veterans Disability, or other federal assistance program. The time right now is 5:15. Here's a
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. It was a very pleasant day yesterday and a cool night last night, looking dry, but As we head throughout the day today, rain will start to develop once more. Let's take a live look at downtown Utica. We are seeing that twilight of the sunrise in the distance, and temperatures currently sitting at 59 degrees. So technically muggy out still, but again, with August standards, this is very comfortable humidity. Any dew point below 60 usually is in the summertime. Sunrise after 6 a.m. We're now at 6:02. So this is a much later sunrise than even earlier on this summer. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Again, dry right now, but to the south, we are seeing some showers start to move in. Those of you in the Oneonta, Morris, Gilbertsville area will start to see rain move in maybe within the next 2 hours or so. You guys will see the earlier part of the rain today. Meanwhile, Mohawk Valley and north will see it later on. But zooming out a little bit, this is influenced by Tropical Storm Debbie, but this is not a direct rain band from Debbie itself. This is a front shifting back north again. It's going a bit in reverse. This is the same rain band that we saw earlier on in the week. It shifted south, and now it's again going in reverse, heading back north again. But to the south, this is where we're seeing Tropical Storm Debbie making landfall, still remaining as a tropical storm initially, then weakening into a post-tropical depression. Now the strength of the system will not entirely be there by Friday, but what will be there is the tropical moisture, and that's the concern as we head into Friday. Now, we have a lot more data coming in regarding potential rainfall as we head into Friday. Now, we can see here that most of the area could see an inch minimum. Some spots maybe less, but that looks to be isolated. Some spots could see 2, maybe 3 inches of rain, but this is not looking to be anything catastrophic, but with the excessive rainfall some locations did see, there could be some flooding concerns. So our flood watch is in effect for Friday. But again, timing this out because, again, starting out today, dry start, we'll see rain showers develop. A few more showers overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. But the concerning rainfall will be Friday evening and Friday night. That's when the worst of the system moves through. 6 to 8:30, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Then we'll dry out as we head into Saturday for the most part. And so your 7-day forecast, you can see here, alert day for Friday, concern for heavy rainfall ends Saturday and Sunday as well. So we'll see those chances for some sunshine, a few spotty showers. Temperatures remaining in the 70s until next week.
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And everyone's thinking about Debbie, all the devastation down south. We will be getting some rain, and right now it's hard to tell just how much, right?
Yes, especially the exact path of the heavy rainfall. We know we're going to see rain from it, and we know we're going to see rainfall at least maybe an inch, 2 inches, some spots even more. But again, yeah, that's the exact path that we still have to fine tune. But let's take a look at what's going on early today, because the weather was actually pretty nice yesterday, pretty quiet overnight, but clouds are increasing from the south. And you notice here the weather station down in Binghamton reporting rain showers. This is influenced by Tropical Storm Debbie, but this is not a direct rain band from Debbie. So we're not looking at anything too impactful rain-wise for today. Again, it's dry start, rain showers develop in the late morning areas south and the early afternoon in the Mohawk Valley and north. But as we head into tomorrow, that's where our risk for heavy rainfall begins to arrive, as what's left of Debbie will collide with a trough in the upper atmosphere, speed it up, and basically squeeze out all the moisture like a wet washcloth. What that'll do is that'll produce the potential for excessive rainfall in the areas in central New York. You can see they're highlighted in red. Moderate risk for excessive rainfall at this point. But again, back to weather today. It's a sunny start, at least for some spots. Clouds will increase, and then we'll see scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder this afternoon with temperatures in the mid-70s. We'll, of course, talk a bit more about Debbie in that full forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Minister.
Welcome back. We are taking a look at our photo of the day on this Thursday, and this one takes us to Cayuta Lake, where we are looking at a beautiful sunset taken on Tuesday night with the colorful purples and reds. What a gorgeous shot right there. And this, of course, was sent in by, apologies if I'm not pronouncing this right, Ligia. Let me know, of course, if I pronounce it incorrectly, because I want to make sure I pronounce your name. As a big thank you for this amazing photo right here. Now, if you would like to submit a photo like this one, send the link right there on top of your screen, WKTV.com/weather/pics. Well, this morning, it's a dry start, but you notice at the very bottom of the screen, the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, a few spotty showers starting to move northward. We'll talk about the arrival of those rain showers, plus the concerning rain we'll see tomorrow in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The Utica Columbian community hosted its first.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning and welcome back. A comfortable night to leave those windows open, but you might want to start shutting them this morning. As we take a live look to the eastern sky in downtown Utica, those clouds arriving from the south, that sunshine, we're starting to say goodbye to it, at least temporarily, for today and tomorrow. Now you can see here, Griffiths and Rome, 59 clear skies. It's technically muggy, but dew points anything below 60 degrees is a comfortable start to the day for midsummer. But one thing though, the sunrise time now after 6 a.m. and we'll of course continue to see that later sunrise throughout the remainder of the month. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Quiet for most of the region, but heading to the south is where we're seeing the arrival of another rain band. And this one, again, arriving in the Morris, Edmiston, Oneonta area, Gilbertsville area, southern Otsego County, heading to Norwich by roughly the next hour or two. So you guys will see the rain first today, and as that rain lifts north, the Mohawk Valley and north will see it later on. Now, zooming out, we can actually see where I was right there, that little rain band. Now, this is influenced by Tropical Storm Debbie, but this is not a direct rain band from Debbie. As you turn our attention to the south, here is the Debbie making landfall, and this will actually collide with an upper level trough up in the atmosphere heading out to the west. And this will collide with it and speed it up. It'll tap into all that wind up in the atmosphere and glide this storm along. So you can see how it was initially very slow, then almost looks as if it's slingshotting all through the northeast, which is the good news for us because you won't see the worst of the rainfall. But again, heavy rainfall is expected with this system. Now we have a lot more data coming in right now, and still I can't tell you exactly where the heaviest rainfall will set up. That's the thing that Mother Nature decides on her own. But what I can tell you is we are expecting to see rainfall in a good amount of it. I notice here the general trend shows most areas seeing at least an inch of rainfall, some spots 2 inches, maybe as high as 3 or so inches of rain. But again, time will tell exactly how this shapes up. But this is not looking to be historic, but yet again with some locations that have seen excessive rainfall early on in the week, especially in southern Oneida County and southern Herkimer County. This could pose a risk to streams being flooded. But to our skycast, you can see here, dry start this morning, clouds increasing and a few scattered showers this afternoon. The rain remains scattered and numerous overnight tonight, and then by tomorrow morning, we'll see a brief window of dry weather. Scattered showers return, and then the concerning time frame for this rain looks to be Friday evening into Friday night. 5 p.m. to as late as 8 and 9 p.m. This is the exact timing we have so far. Again, it might shift in an hour or two, but if you have any plans Friday evening, you might want to hold off on them because it's going to be a very, very rainy one. Then following that, actually the weekend not shaping up too bad. It'll be a bit breezy with some sunshine and a spotty shower. That'll continue for Sunday. Temperatures both days of the weekend in the 70s, so not a very warm one. And we remain in the 70s as we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week, gradually warming up into the low 80s by Wednesday. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The new school year will bring a new 2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And Debbie. We've heard it for about a week now, and now it's making its trek north.
Yes, and it's the reason why it's been at least talked about so much is because it's been a slow-moving storm. It moved through Florida, then kind of sat along the coast for a little bit, and has now made landfall. And the path of it will eventually reach us here in central New York. So let's talk about that in just a second. But first, we've got 58 degrees in Rome, 61 Hamilton. Notice the sunshine north and clouds to the south. In fact, in Ithaca, you can actually see some rain showers being reported by the weather station down there. A dry start, but again, rain will begin to move in areas south initially, and then in the Mohawk Valley and north later on today. In fact, that one rain band you can see here approaching just south of Norwich, Oneonta, Morris, Gilbertsville at this point. Now today, we're not tracking anything regarding extremely impactful weather, just a few scattered showers. But by tomorrow, that's where our risk for excessive rainfall begins to increase, as what's left of Tropical Storm Debbie, which will be remnants at that point, will move through our area. But for now, again, dry start, afternoon rain showers. We'll talk a bit more about the potential rainfall totals from Debbie, the exact timing and when things will clear out in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Well, Tropical Storm Debbie is expected to bring even more rain today to already soggy South Carolina, as it has now made a second landfall on that state. It is now expected to pick up speed as it heads north. This is a look at some of the damage from Florida over the past few days. The National Hurricane Center says the center of the storm is moving across South Carolina this morning, bringing even more rain and flooding to that state. Heavy rain is expected in parts of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast through Saturday. The slow-moving rain connected to the tropical storm has already made its way as far north as New Jersey. Here at home, a big day in Utica today as a ribbon.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good morning. The time now is 6:13. We are tracking a dry start today. However, we'll be seeing some rain showers developing later on. Let's take a look at your Munson CommuteCast to start out your day. First off, a live look at downtown Utica right now. Dry starts. In fact, a few clouds moving in. Sunshine giving way to those clouds in the south. Again, rain developing south, moving north later on this morning into the early part of this afternoon. On our traffic tracker, no accidents to report of in the Mohawk Valley and north, but as we turn our attention to the southern valleys, especially right off of Otsego Lake, Route 80 road is closed at this point due to a stalled truck. This is in between Route 28 and Red House Hill Road. So a heads up if you're commuting along Route 80 today that you might want to find a quick detour as again that road is closed temporarily due to that stalled truck. But that's about it regarding traffic alerts early today. If you want a full list of the planned road work areas, you can of course head to WKTV.com. But again, this morning, dry start, rain showers this afternoon. We are continuing to follow the track of Debbie in that full forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Continuing coverage now of the tornado recovery effort over in Rome. Nash back in the Copper City next Wednesday to meet with customers so they have someone to talk with face-to-face regarding their recent bills. The event is next Wednesday, August 14th from 10 to 3 at the Jervis Public Library in Rome. And if you want to apply for the National Grid Energy Assistance Program, you will need to bring letters saying you qualify for SNAP, Medicaid, Veterans Disability, or other federal assistance. The time right now is 6:50.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. This Thursday starting out dry. However, we are tracking the arrival of a few scattered showers in the southern valleys early today. Let's take a live look at downtown Utica where it is dry right now. In fact, a pretty pleasant morning out there. A little crisp. Temperatures in the 50s right now. So it is lower humidity relatively by summertime standards with dew points in the 50s. Officially 58 at Griffiths & Rome. Again, mostly sunny, but that sunrise time, a 6:02, getting later and later in the morning. And that's, of course, with the shorter days, lower sun angle. The trend for temperatures will gradually get cooler and cooler. But again, it's still midsummer. So overall, the temperatures typically are a bit warmer than what we're seeing right now. A live look there at Full Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Again, dry for most of the area right now, but the arrival of rain showers are moving in. Currently in Otsego, heading north into Oneonta within the span of the next maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Same thing for Morris, Gilbertsville, New Berlin, South New Berlin, Edmiston, that area should be seeing rainfall within the hour. Now this, zooming out, there is that individual rain band right there. It's influenced by Tropical Storm Debbie, but it's not a direct rain band from it. So we're not tracking anything regarding concerning rainfall for today, but we are for tomorrow. As you can see here, the path of it will hook north and east and slingshot across New York State. And that with it could produce some excessive rainfall. Now, how much rain are we talking? Well, again, with the path of a system like this, you really can't tell the exact heavier rainfall bands until the system starts to move into the area. What we can tell you is it's going to rain, and we're looking to see for most areas at least an inch of rainfall, some spots even more, 2 inches, 3 inches. So a heads up that there could be some localized flooding. And of course, we'll keep a close eye on area creeks and streams. The latest River Monitor forecast will provide that if things do trend a bit more concerning. But for now, at least for the Mohawk River, the Delta Dam, all those locations, they're approaching their action stage, but none approaching flood stage at this point. And so on our Skycast, dry start, clouds increasing, scattered showers moving in. Same thing for overnight tonight. It's going to be an unsettled stretch with clouds and rain showers here and there for now, at least until Friday. And this is when the concerning area arrives, Friday evening into Friday night. But then by Saturday, the rain exits and it will dry out. And so your 7-day forecast, again, the timing of the heavier rainfall Friday evening into Friday night. Then following that, we'll see sunshine and spotty showers Saturday and Sunday, and then still remaining in the 70s by Monday and Tuesday of next week. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Now to a developing story. A local law to fight homelessness.
2024.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And some pop-up showers today you were mentioning.
Yes, a dry start right now, at least in some spots south. The rain's moving in a little earlier. But yeah, a few pop-up showers later on today. The concerning arrival for rain doesn't look to be until tomorrow. So those who were concerned about we're going to see Debbie today, well, no. We got at least one more day of still unsettled weather, but not too impactful weather. Let's take a look outside right now. First across the state, 58 in Rome, 59 Hamilton, 60 down in Binghamton, 43, a crisp start in Saranac Lake. But you notice down in Ithaca, rain showers being reported by the weather station down there. And that's because rain is starting to move in. Now, this is not, again, from the direct cause of Debbie, but it is somewhat influenced by the pattern as the front is shifting back up north again. Notice in the Norwich, Oneonta area, in fact, zooming in even more, areas in the Morris, Otsego, Oneonta, Gilbertsville area, South New Berlin, we'll start to see these rain showers within the next few minutes. Now again, today, there's no real concern for flooding, but as we head into tomorrow, there is a moderate risk for excessive rainfall, flash flooding risk, and that is, of course, due to the path of the remnants of Debbie moving over central New York. But we'll talk about those rainfall totals in just a minute. But again, today, a dry start, rain showers developing in the afternoon with highs in the mid-70s. We'll talk about the rainfall totals again, and as well as the latest path, the tracks, all latest data for tomorrow in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim.
Welcome back on this Thursday morning. We are showing our photo of the day, this one taken on Tuesday, and this picture takes us to Cayuga Lake. Out in Herkimer County, you can of course see the beautiful shots of the purples, blues, and even reds reflecting off the lake there, sent in by Alicia, and you of course can see a lot of these photos here on our website, wktv.com/weather/pics. There were a lot of sunset photos submitted to us. So you can see other photos submitted as well, or if you want to submit your own, you can send the link right there on top of your screen. Again, this is something I'll be doing, of course, every day, showcasing the beauty of our local area here in central New York. Looking at our radar right now, it's a dry start. However, rain showers are arriving from the south, approaching the Oneonta area right now, continuing northward through Otsego and Chenango counties into Herkimer or into Madison County, and eventually we'll see a few more scattered showers arrive as we head throughout the afternoon. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The Utica Columbian community hosted its first ever flag raising at Utica.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. This Thursday starts out pretty dry for most of the area, but rain showers are starting to move in. In fact, let's take a live look at Oneonta where the rain is on the doorstep. In fact, if not already starting to rain, as a rain band is moving in from the south. Oneonta, or at least Utica right now, we are seeing sunshine, a few passing clouds, but a dry start. Temperatures currently sitting at 58 degrees, mostly sunny. And although dew point of 56, any dew point below 60 in summertime is, at least in our opinion, considered comfortable for this time of year. Live look at the radar. We are seeing dry conditions for most of the Mohawk Valley and North Country, but to the south, that's where a rain shower is moving through parts of Otsego and Chenango counties. The heaviest of it is just south of South New Berlin, heading into the Moores area at this point. Lawrence as well. Maybe a light shower in Oneonta right now. Zooming out, this is where that rain band is. You notice it's still not quite associated with Tropical Storm Debbie, which is to our south, but it is somewhat influenced by it as this system is pushing a south wind and bringing that front that's producing that rain showers a bit more north. Now, the track of this system is expected to arrive locally here in central New York, but it's slingshotting, so it's going to move fairly quickly. Which is good news regarding we're not going to see catastrophic flooding, but we could see a good amount of rainfall, which is why we're at a moderate risk for excessive rainfall for tomorrow. And as you can see here, a lot of locations could see as high as an inch of rainfall, some spots 2 to 3. The official forecast as of now go between 1 to 3 inches of rain. Some spots a little less, some spots a little more. Again, this is more of a system we have to monitor as it develops, because these isolated rain bands are not that wide, and some areas will see, of course, a lot more rain than others. Officially, we are going to keep a close eye on the river and stream forecasts, and as of now, nothing is expected to climb a flood stage, but that will change, and we'll, of course, provide those updates as they do become available. And so in our Skycast right now, again, dry start, rain showers developing from the south, scattered showers and clouds throughout the overnight into early tomorrow, and the heaviest rainfall is expected to arrive Friday evening and into Friday night. It's around 5 or so p.m., 6, 7 p.m., and then beyond that, the front exits, the remnants of Debbie exit, and we're looking at sunshine, breezy conditions, and an isolated shower for Saturday. So again, the highest impact timing, Friday evening to Friday night, impacts, at least any notable impacts to the system over and done with by Saturday and Sunday of the weekend. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The Wynn Hospital.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on the CW11. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And if you haven't heard the name Debbie in a while, you probably haven't been watching TV because her name's been in the news for about a week now.
Yes, and we'll still be talking about it because what's left of Tropical Storm Debbie will reach us by tomorrow. And that could cause some concerns for excessive rainfall. But for today, thankfully, nothing in terms of impactful weather aside from some scattered showers. Look at those current conditions. We have now reached the low 60s across the state, 60 in Rome, 61 Hamilton. And the radar, again, dry for the Mohawk Valley and north, but southern valleys, we're starting to see a shower move through. Matter of fact, zooming in, it's heading into South New Berlin, into Morris, into Lawrence and Oneonta right now. It's, again, not impactful, but the rain is there. Flash flooding risk for tomorrow is at a moderate risk, located in the area in red. Again, what's left of Tropical Storm Debbie will arrive and will produce a good amount of rainfall over the region. Nothing catastrophic, but enough to cause concern for flooding. So, of course, look at that, the latest details coming up in a few minutes. But today, clouds and sunshine to start, rain showers in the afternoon, better shot for rain tomorrow. Again, the numbers and the latest forecast details straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Staying on Tropical Storm Debbie, well, she is expected to bring even more rain today to already soggy South Carolina, as it has now made a second landfall. It is now expected to pick up speed as it does head north. This is a look at the damage in Florida. The National Hurricane Center says the center of the storm is now moving across the South Carolina coastline, bringing even more rain and flooding to that area. Heavy rain is expected in parts of the mid-Atlantic and even up here in the Northeast through Saturday. The slow-moving rain connected to the tropical storm has already made its way as far north as New Jersey. Here at home, a big day in Utica as a ribbon.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. This Thursday starting out dry and in some spots sunny in the Mohawk Valley. Taking a live look at downtown Utica right now. Blue skies, a few clouds moving in from the south, and temperatures in the 60s. Technically muggy. Dew point of 57, but summertime standards, dew points anything below 60 is considered comfortable, at least we think. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Not everyone is waking up to completely dry weather. We have an isolated shower south of the Mohawk Valley, moving into the Morris area, Gilbertsville area, just outside of Lawrence. Looks like the shower weakened a little bit before it reached Oneonta. Maybe a light drizzle at most is what you guys saw early today. But zooming out, there's that shower, and it's part of a separate system than Tropical Storm Debbie. This was the same front that brought rain to our area earlier on in the week. It shifted south, and now it's backpedaling, going in reverse, heading back north again. And this is influenced by, of course, what's left of the Tropical Storm Debbie, which is putting lots of rain into the Carolinas at this point. Now, the track of this system continues north. It slingshots across the northeast through central New York. And the good news is it moves fast, which means that we're not tracking potential for catastrophic flooding concerns, but there is still going to be a good amount of rain from this system. Now, you factor in several models, and we're talking about rainfall totals going maybe as high as at least minimum of an inch for a lot of locations, as high as 2-3 inches, some spots even more. We won't be able to identify the exact locations of the heaviest rainfall until the system gets a little bit closer. But again, the general idea is 1 to 3 inches of rain, and we'll keep an eye on area creeks and streams, as well as some rivers, river monitors as well. If anything does change as of now, we're not expecting anything to reach flood stage, only action stage at this point. And so on the Skycast, clouds increasing throughout the morning, scattered showers this afternoon and this evening, lingering through tonight. Still unsettled into the early morning hours tomorrow, clouds, scattered showers, and then as we head into tomorrow evening, this is what the highest impact timing will be. 5 to 6 p.m., 7, 8 p.m., still seeing that heavy rainfall. And then following tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, things quiet down, and Saturday is looking okay. And so your 7-day forecast, again, heavy rain Friday evening to Friday night, impact with the system ends Saturday and Sunday.
News with Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. North Carolina is the latest state to feel the effects of Tropical Storm Debbie. The storm has brought significant flooding to parts of the state and some wind damage as well. And there is concern that we could see some major rain from this storm eventually. We'll check in with Eric in just a bit, but first, check this out right here. Floodwaters damaged a pharmacy in Bladenboro, North Carolina. Debbie made a second landfall here in the U.S. early this morning, this time as a tropical storm in South Carolina. It first made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane in Florida on Monday before moving off the East Coast yesterday and now returning over land. This is one slow-moving storm. It's not expected to start leaving North Carolina until tonight or tomorrow morning. Let's head right over to the Weather Center where meteorologist Eric Gage is keeping track of Debbie's path. Eric, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Gary. Yes, you're right. We are looking at some rain showers moving in right now. These are influenced, not directly from Debbie, but again, front is shifting north as that south wind is becoming a bit more on the stronger side. Now, a few of these showers moving in, we have a better shot for rain approaching the southern valleys within the span of the next few hours. But as you can see here in downtown Utica, rain has tapered off a little bit, but it will return again with scattered showers, not only for this afternoon, but into tonight, into tomorrow morning, into tomorrow afternoon. With the risk for scattered showers today, no risk expected, at least regarding flooding or severe weather. But as we head into tomorrow, risk for heavy rainfall is expected, and then on top of that, a new risk, potential for severe weather, especially in locations south and east of Utica. So here's the track of the system right now. It's going to slingshot over the Utica area, central New York region, and to the north and east. So again, we'll talk about those impacts regarding Tropical Storm Debbie, the latest trends, and how much rain we're expecting in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Developing at this hour, a magnitude 7.1 earthquake has struck southwestern Japan. The quake has triggered tsunami alerts, and this particular quake is prompting officials to issue their first ever warning of a possible Nankai Trough megaquake. That kind of quake emanating from an underwater fault line off the coast of Japan could be especially powerful. Estimates have shown that a mega thrust quake could trigger a huge tsunami in the Pacific coast, which could be deadly for hundreds of thousands of people living near the Japanese coastline area. The Red Cross is helping a family of 5 from Rome after a fire on Wednesday. It happened on Victory Drive, and it appears it started in the garage and may have moved inside the home. No word on the extent of damage right now. We are waiting on a call back from Rome fire officials. The Red Cross says it is providing financial assistance for shelter, food, and clothing to 1 adult and 4 young children. Those children ages 5, 10, 11, and 15. The Red Cross relies on the generosity of local donors to help local families prepare, respond, and recover from disasters here in central and northern New York. You can call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcross.org online to donate to disaster relief. Brand new this noon, the State Health Department wants to remind all New Yorkers to take precautions.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon and welcome back. Weather has turned a bit more unsettled today with a few scattered showers. In fact, a live look at Oneonta right now. We're seeing that light rain moving through the area. And those temperatures still in the 70s in some spots. In fact, it's actually warmer up in the North Country, 71 inlet, down to 64 in Little Falls, and to the south in the 60s, 69 Cooperstown, 66 degrees in Oneonta. And the reason why is, well, it's been a bit rainy in areas south and dry for the North Country. As we take a look at the radar, we're seeing those rain showers continue to shift more north. And this is due to a stationary front lifting. This was the same system that pushed south and produced rain showers earlier in the week. And now it's basically putting on, shifting into reverse and going back north again. Now, this is affected by Tropical Storm Debbie, but not an immediate result of it. However, to the south, we can see the circulation of Debbie as it continues more and more north. And so again, this is the track of it. It's going to speed up and slingshot to the east as it encounters a cold front in a trough approaching from the west, and that'll steer it again more north and east. But regarding rainfall, again, there's no sudden changes. We're still thinking roughly 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. Now, we do notice that there's a lot more trends regarding the heaviest of rain out in western New York, and the dark or the reds that indicate 3 inches or more. But again, this is just a model output. A system like this, you're going to have to wait until it starts to get close, where we finally figure out the exact path of it, because these bands are so thin, they could shift east or west and affect the rainfall total by maybe an inch or two. So again, we'll keep a close eye on those rainfall totals. But something new, there is a new risk to be added, is the risk for severe weather in terms of tornadic development. The dark green area right here, including Otsego, southern Herkimer County, Fulton, Montgomery counties, is due to the fact that the low pressure system will be in the northeastern quadrant. That's the highest risk zone for tornado development in circulatory systems like this. For example, a tropical storm or a hurricane, in this case just the remnants of it, but it's still rotating, and so the atmospheric environment here is most favorable for tornadoes. And so in our Skycast, we can see here scattered showers today, scattered showers tonight and into tomorrow, and then tomorrow afternoon, best risk for severe weather out south and east of Utica, and the heaviest rainfall risk zone expected between 4 and 8 p.m. as things quiet down heading into the overnight hours. So again, your 7-day forecast, alert day tomorrow. This system exits by Friday night. And as we head into Saturday and Sunday, we're not looking to see anything impactful regarding the weather, with just sunshine and a few spotty showers.
The news with Kristen Copeland and Jason Pallas.
Tropical Storm Debbie is set to sweep through central New York and the Mohawk Valley.
State of New York's getting ready to respond to what they're calling a 40 to 70% chance of flash flooding in our area. So this is video that's coming out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. We've seen a lot of this video since this made landfall. But scenes like this, when it comes to flash flooding or water on roadways, maybe even water in your homes, could come as a result of the storm. The State Commissioner on Emergency Services says they are already preparing a response, preemptively mobilizing the National Guard. After weeks of stormy weather, she's warning that the ground in our area saturated and could set up some dangerous conditions.
The most important thing to know is that running water, rushing water is really dangerous, and less of it than you think can be dangerous. So if you're in a vehicle, for example, just 6 inches of moving water can make it impossible to steer your car. You know, a foot of moving water can sweep your car away. And so I think that people often look at rushing water and think, I can wade through that. You can't. Not in the middle of the storm, not during a flash flood, not right after a storm. The power of that water is real. So I think that's really important.
Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis has been tracking Debbie for days now and joins us now live with the latest.
Yeah, we're going to get through this. We've got some new information to pass along tonight with the track of Debbie. It looks like it's going to shift a little bit to the west. So that does, it doesn't change the forecast here, but it does change where the heaviest rain is expected to fall. It's mainly from Utica and points west. All of us under a flood watch for tomorrow. That's when the heaviest rain arrives. Some light rain today from the very leading edge of Debbie, which is still way to the south. And again, this is going to move quickly to the north. It's a fast mover. That's another new development. This is only going to be with us on Friday. It comes to an end before midnight. Again, the heaviest rain arrives Friday afternoon. Some flash flooding is possible. With the small change in the track, there is the chance that part of our area could get into the wind shear part of the storm. We saw that with Beryl, which this does often produce a few isolated tornadoes. This is mainly for areas south and east of Utica in this yellow zone. So this is Otsego County, southeast Herkimer County. Primary concern for all of us, heavy rain. We're thinking 2 to 4 inches of accumulation over the next 24 hours. Showers this evening. Again, the heaviest rain arrives tomorrow afternoon. A few thunderstorms are possible as well. We've got the latest on this and also how the weekend is shaping up, and that's coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The Red Cross is helping a family of 5 from Rome after a fire last night on Victory Drive.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're continuing to track the remnants of Debbie, which will be affecting our weather over the next 24 hours, bringing heavy rainfall and the risk for a few thunderstorms. Let's take a live look at the Yorkville Battery's Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We've been seeing a breeze, some scattered showers. This is the leading edge of moisture associated with Debbie. Again, the steadiest rain arrives tomorrow. The really heavy rain is expected to be with us on Friday. This is the general rainfall forecast. 2 to 4 inches of rain for most of our area. You go south and east into southern Otsego County, down the Mohawk Valley, 1 to 2 inches of rain, so slightly lower amounts. But a general risk for flooding includes just about all of central New York. If you live in a flood-prone area, you're going to want to keep an eye on streams, rivers. Things can change very quickly. Again, we think the timing of the flooding would be in the late afternoon to early evening. Another thing that we're watching is the track of the storm could create a little bit more wind shear in this yellow zone, which could prompt the potential of a rotating storm or two. And like we saw with Beryl, tropical systems can sometimes produce tornadoes. So there is the chance that part of our area could see that. We'll keep a close eye on this. We're going to be watching the radar really closely. And if we get any developments with that, we are going to be quick to respond and pass along any information tomorrow afternoon. Another thing, too, download our weather app. You can get warnings very quickly that way. Live look at downtown Utica, 63 degrees. It's been a dreary day. Sky watchers are in the 60s this evening. Whitesboro, 66. Clinton, 67. Inlet with 67 degrees, as well as Westford actually checking in with 63. So again, Debbie's going to move in very quickly. This storm's been stuck in the Carolinas, but it's going to catch the jet stream, and it's going to run through our area as we head into the day tomorrow. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast. Rain becomes steadier overnight. Temperatures will be steady. In fact, they might actually rise after midnight as some more tropical air starts to work in. Tomorrow morning, steady rain. Heavy rain develops in the afternoon and early evening. Again, a few embedded thunderstorms are possible. Things will start to quiet down as we head into tomorrow night, and the weather looks great as we head into the start of the weekend. A return to sunshine, and we are dry on Saturday and cooler with temperatures in the 70s. Tonight, rain 65 for the overnight low. Tomorrow, rain becomes heavy at times in the afternoon time, especially the late afternoon. 75 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Sunshine on Saturday, 76. A few light rain chances ahead, but again, light rain chances. Temperatures in the low 70s Sunday and Monday. And then we start to warm up again with sunshine Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be right back.
With Jason Pallas.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Tomorrow is a Storm Tracker 2 alert day as heavy rains are expected to move into our area, all part of now Tropical Depression Debbie. Also a chance of severe weather in parts of the viewing area. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis now. All of the data keeps coming in, and it's pointing towards not such a great Friday.
Yeah, we're tracking multiple things. The potential of flooding, the potential of a few severe storms, and it looks busiest tomorrow afternoon. We're continuing to follow Debbie as it continues to move into central New York. We have a flood watch that has been expanded eastward to include Hamilton, Fulton, Montgomery, and Otsego County. This is in effect until Friday night. Scattered showers across our area this evening. These are not related to Debbie, at least not the worst of this. This storm is moving in from the south, and all of this heavy rain will be moving into our area as we head into tomorrow. Again, tracking the rainfall, tracking the possibility of a few isolated tornadoes. It looks like the wind shear part of this will impact part of our area, especially south and east of Utica. I've highlighted this in yellow. We could see a little bit of wind shear here. And we're also tracking some heavy rainfall, a general 2 to 4 inches or more for most areas, which could cause some rivers to climb above flood stage. This would be taking place Friday afternoon and Friday evening. For tonight, rain, temperatures in the mid-60s. Again, this ramps up. Debbie arriving tomorrow, especially in the late morning to early afternoon. We've got to look at when things will get better, what the weekend's looking like coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New York State says they are ready to respond where and whenever flooding occurs, including right here in the Mohawk Valley. News Channel 2's Luke Radel spoke to the Commissioner of Emergency Services about what you can do to prepare for the storm. He joins us now live in studio with the very latest. Luke, good evening.
Jason, this is some of the flooding folks that further south of us in North Carolina have faced as a result of Tropical Depression Debbie. And even though we might be used to flash floods here in our area, Commissioner Jackie Bray tells me there is reason to plan ahead for residents here in the Mohawk Valley.
If you have a flash flood warning and you're at your home, which door are you going out of? How are you getting to higher ground, right? I know in my house, I would go out my back door and up the hill about 100 yards, not out my front door that leads down to the creek, right? So just know those things today. You know, I think you're right. The Mohawk Valley is really used to floods. The one thing I would say is that the ground is saturated. It is a really wet period of time just south of the Adirondacks. And given that, less rain, less water than usual can cause flash flooding. And so we all need to stay alert tomorrow.
Bray also warned that rushing water, even just a few inches of it, can be more dangerous than it may seem. Just 6 inches of moving water, she says, can make it impossible to steer your car. And 6 more on top of that can move your entire car off the ground. Don't try to wade through that flood water, she warns. And with all of the severe weather that we've seen in our area over the past few weeks, the commissioner wants everyone out there to stay safe tomorrow as this tropical depression moves through. Jason?
Luke Radel reporting. Thank you. Debbie is bringing heavy rain to the Carolinas after it made landfall on South Carolina coast. The storm has spawned tornadoes across the region, one of which killed a man in North Carolina. Sherelle Hubbard has the latest.
Doors blowed out. Ceilings blown out.
Alarms at Springfield Middle School blared Thursday as first responders assessed the damage. A tornado spawned by Tropical Storm Debbie tore through the Wilson County, North Carolina school, ripping holes in the ceiling, flipping desks over, and blowing doors off the hinges. But that was just one stop on Debbie's path of destruction.
I said, Lord, you know, I've worked all my life for what I got here. Please don't take it.
Norman Toller prayed for the tornado to pass by his home Thursday morning, and it did. But one of his neighbors did not survive the twister, bringing Debbie's death toll to 6.
Looked back out the back door and I seen a twister going across the backyard and stuff was flying, and I went down there praying.
Debbie was moving around 10 miles an hour Thursday evening over Charlotte, North Carolina. It's expected to pick up speed as it moves into northern Virginia before accelerating through Pennsylvania and New York Friday. The storm will reach New England Saturday, where heavy rain and flash flooding is on the forecast. In one dramatic rescue, the Raleigh Fire Department rescued 3 children stuck in rapidly rising and fast-moving water on Thursday.
She was barely holding on, and then the rescue team came just in time to come put her in the boat.
State officials are encouraging residents to stay safe.
We asked North Carolinians to be careful.
Members of North Carolina's National Guard have been mobilized to assist in more ground and swift water rescues. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
New tonight, it's been nearly 6 weeks since 13-year-old Yahweh was shot and killed by a Utica police officer. Tonight would have been his 14th birthday. Family, friends, and
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Scattered showers continue to move through central New York. The rain is going to be picking up as we head into tomorrow as Debbie rolls into our area. So for tonight, it's mainly just some light rain. And again, things will be picking up as we head into the day tomorrow. A general 2 to 4 inches of rain is expected for most of central New York. The timing of this, again, the heaviest part of this looks to be in the afternoon. Flash flooding is going to be possible, especially in flood-prone areas. As we go south and east, this zone in yellow could see a few isolated stronger storms, and it's possible that we could get an isolated tornado tomorrow because we're getting into the wind shear part of this storm. Like we saw with Beryl, sometimes these tropical systems produce wind shear. It's not the same as Beryl. Beryl had a lot more wind shear, but this one does have some. And so we want to just put that out there so that nobody's caught off guard here. I think this is primarily a rainmaker, but again, in parts of our area, especially south and east of Utica, we'll have to keep an eye on the radar tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Live look in downtown Utica, a temperature of 63 degrees. Some good news to pass along. Once this system clears out Friday night, we might be able to capture a glimpse of the northern lights. This would be after midnight Friday into early Saturday. There's a little bit of a solar storm that could give us some activity and the chance to see that. But again, we do have to get through the next 24 hours. As this system moves in from the south, you can see the swirl, the center of low pressure of Debbie as it lifts to the north. It's going to get captured in the jet stream. So it's been hanging out in the Carolinas for the past several days, but then it's going to accelerate as it gets swept up in the jet stream. And we're only dealing with this for about a day, which is good news, all things considered. Tonight, steady rain develops. Overnight lows, well, they're going to rise. We'll climb to near 70 by tomorrow morning. We'll see some light rain in the morning. Some heavier rain develops in the afternoon. That's when I think we'll see the worst of the weather conditions with the heaviest rain. The chance of thunder would be in the late afternoon to early evening. Temperatures in the mid-70s. This lifts to the north, and we do get a chance to dry out and clear out as we get into tomorrow night. And Saturday looks like a much nicer day with a mix of sunshine and clouds and high temperatures in the mid-70s. Again, total rainfall for most of the area, about 2 to 4 inches. Rain tonight, 65 for the overnight low. Heavy rain tomorrow. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Sunshine on Saturday, 76. The chance of a shower on Sunday. The rain chances ahead look very light, so we're not worried about any additional flooding. Temperatures will be near 80 degrees Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be right back.
News with Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Tomorrow is a Storm Tracker 2 alert day as heavy rains are expected to move into our area, all part of now Tropical Depression Debbie. There's also a chance of severe weather in parts of the area. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. He is tracking from the Weather Center new information tonight.
Yes, Debbie is moving faster, which is good news because it slightly lowers the risk for flooding. It just means Debbie won't be around for quite as long. This storm is still coming, but it looks like we'll have a little bit less heavy rainfall. Still, we have that flood watch in effect for Friday and Friday night. The National Weather Service has expanded this to include Otsego, Hamilton, Fulton, and Montgomery County tonight. So all of central New York and the risk of seeing some flooding, streams, rivers, flood-prone areas. We're going to have to watch these tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening as widespread heavy rain moves in. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, some light rain around. The heavier downpours are still to the south. In fact, Virginia, Washington, D.C., southern Pennsylvania, that's where the heaviest rain is, and that'll be arriving locally tomorrow. Again, keeping an eye on the track of this storm, we've noticed a development today. The storm track shifting to the west could mean that part of our area could see some storms and some wind shear. We saw that with Beryl that produces some wind shear on the right side of a tropical system, and it is possible that we could see a few isolated tornadoes in this yellow area. Again, this is generally south and east of Utica. Again, the risk is there, but it's low. Most of us are talking about widespread rainfall. A general 2 to 4 inches of accumulation is expected. Tonight, rain becomes steadier. The heaviest rain arrives tomorrow, especially during the afternoon. That's when we think the peak of this event will be taking place. And then the weather looks a lot better heading into the weekend. I'm going to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New York State says they are ready to respond wherever and whenever flooding occurs, including here in the Mohawk Valley. News Channel 2's Luke Radel spoke to the Commissioner of Emergency Services about what you can do to prepare for the storm. He joins us now live in studio with her answer. Luke, good evening.
Jason, this is some of the flooding that folks further south of us in North Carolina have faced as a result of Debbie. We've seen floods coming in places like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where my friend Tegan is working. And even though we might be used to seeing flash floods in our area, Commissioner Jackie Bray tells me that residents here in the Mohawk Valley still need to plan ahead.
If you have a flash flood warning and you're at your home, which door are you going out of? How are you getting to higher ground? Right? I know in my house, I would go out my back door and up the hill about 100 yards, not out my front door. That leads down to the creek, right? So just know those things today. You know, I think you're right. The Mohawk Valley is really used to floods. The one thing I would say is that the ground is saturated. It is a really wet period of time just south of the Adirondacks. And given that, less rain, less water than usual can cause flash flooding, and so we all need to stay alert tomorrow.
Now, Bray also warned that rushing water, even just a few inches of it, can be more dangerous than it seems. Just 6 inches of moving water can make it impossible to steer your car, and 6 more on top of that can move your car entirely. Don't try to wade through that flood water, and with all the severe weather that we've seen in our area these past few weeks, the commissioner wants everyone to stay safe out there tomorrow as this tropical depression moves through. Jason?
All right, Luke, thank you. Debbie is bringing heavy rain to the Carolinas after it made landfall on the South Carolina coast. The storm has spawned tornadoes across the region, one of which killed a man in North Carolina. Sherelle Hubbard has the latest.
Doors blowed out. Ceilings blown out.
Alarms at Springfield Middle School blared Thursday as first responders assessed the damage. A tornado spawned by Tropical Storm Debbie tore through the Wilson County, North Carolina school, ripping holes in the ceiling, flipping desks over, and blowing doors off the hinges. But that was just one stop on Debbie's path of destruction.
I said, Lord, you know, I've worked all my life for what I got here. Please don't take it.
Norman Toller prayed for the tornado to pass by his home Thursday morning, and it did. But one of his neighbors did not survive the twister, bringing Debbie's death toll to 6.
Looked back out the back door and I seen a twister going across the backyard and stuff was flying, and I went down there praying.
Debbie was moving around 10 miles an hour Thursday evening over Charlotte, North Carolina. It's expected to pick up speed as it moves into northern Virginia before accelerating through Pennsylvania and New York Friday. The storm will reach New England Saturday, where heavy rain and flash flooding is on the forecast. In one dramatic rescue, the Raleigh Fire Department rescued 3 children stuck in rapidly rising and fast-moving water on Thursday.
She was barely holding on, and then the rescue team came just in time to come put her in the boat.
State officials are encouraging residents to stay safe.
We asked North Carolinians to be careful.
Members of North Carolina's National Guard have been mobilized to assist in more ground and swift water rescues. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
New tonight, it's been nearly 6 weeks since 13-year-old Yahweh was shot and killed by you.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We are continuing to track some steady, generally light rain moving across the region tonight. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The heaviest precipitation is still well to the south. We'll see the remnants of Debbie arrive as we head into tomorrow. A general 2 to 4 inches of rain is expected tomorrow afternoon across most of central New York. Here's some of your headlines here. The rain arrives, it becomes heaviest in the afternoon. That's when we could see a few thunderstorms. Flash flooding is possible, especially in flood-prone areas. And another development today that we've been noticing, there's been a westward shift in the track, and so what that does is it brings in wind shear. On the right side of a moving tropical system, we get into a wind shear zone, and in this yellow area, that's where we're expecting to see some wind shear tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. What this means is we could have a couple of thunderstorms that have the possibility of producing an isolated tornado. It's not for the entire area. It's mainly for areas south and east of Utica, but it is something that we watch very closely. Again, it's not a high risk, but again, given the summer that we've had, we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. Live look at downtown Utica, temperature of 64 degrees. Once this moves through, we do have something to look forward to. There is the possibility of the northern lights as we get into tomorrow night. Of course, we've got Debbie's cloud cover in place, but you might be able to catch a glow after midnight as skies are expected to clear out. Things move quickly now as Debbie gets caught up in the jet stream. The center is over North Carolina, but this is going to move very quickly into the northeast as it takes the jet stream superhighway. Tonight, looking at widespread rain developing. Overnight lows will be in the mid to upper 60s. We'll warm up tomorrow morning. We'll start out around 70. It'll feel very humid. Some steady rain will become heavier throughout the afternoon, and there is a chance for a few thunderstorms as we head into late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Debbie lifts to the north, so the rain is done by about 10 to 11 o'clock. And then we'll see clearing skies and a beautiful Saturday. It looks much nicer. High temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Rain tonight, low of 65. Heavy rain tomorrow. Again, a few thunderstorms are possible in the afternoon. High of 75. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Beautiful over the weekend. Chance of a shower here on Sunday. Some late rain showers, but again, light. We're not expecting any additional flooding concerns going forward. Highs near 80 on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be right back.